Hi everyone, my name is Tejas Ghalsasi. I also go by TJ. In this short demo, I want to show a practical proof of concept for a private legal workflow using a local large language model, that is LLM. So the core problem I'm trying to solve is simple. Law firms may want to use the simplicity of and time-saving benefits of AI, but they often do not want to use or upload the client-specific data, matter-specific data, or personal information to public cloud infrastructure or public cloud tools such as ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. So the question is, can we still use AI to save legal staff time while keeping the processing local and under the firm control? So this demo shows that the answer is yes. In this version of the workflow, the client first uploads the data in an intake form, such as a Google form or another structured intake. The information is then processed in a spreadsheet or an internal tool. From there, the local AI workflow takes the raw intake and turns it into a first pass internal draft for a paralegal or a lawyer to review. The goal is not to replace legal judgment, and it is not to treat the model as the source of truth of law. The goal is to reduce administrative drafting time and convert raw intake data into something structured and useful. I'll just move on to the demo right now.
In this demo, the client first completes an intake form, such as a Google form. Those responses land in a spreadsheet as a raw intake row, and then the local AI workflow then takes that raw intake and turns it into a structured first pass internal draft for a lawyer or a paralegal review. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to switch off my Wi-Fi, and I have also switched off my internet on my device, and I'm going to give you a quick demo on how this operates. So I have installed Open Web UI, which gives you this sort of a ChatGPT type of interface. It is backed by a Docker container, which is also running Olama at the background with these local models installed. So for this demo, I'm going to use Qwen 2.5, that is 3B, and I have also installed PHI3 Mini. So these are the open source free models that are available on platforms such as Hugging Face, and I have coupled them with Olama, and then this is being shown to you on Open Web UI. So I have already created these sort of templates. In this situation, I have already downloaded the CSV file that the fictitious client has submitted using that intake form. So the office administrative staff copies all of this information from the CSV file, which is structured, which is directly downloaded from the form, and you just copy that right here. Here you go, and then you go to the LLM, and in this case I have already pre-formatted it with a query like a prompt which has the instructions for what it should do with the data that is provided by the uh, administrative staff. So right now I'm just going to rename this into demo. All right, and since I have already cloned it, it's waiting for the input. So here I set it, and then this is again the input that I've provided, and I'm going to type out here is the data that the client has provided in a CSV file, and I'm just going to give it a little space and then paste the entire data over here, and I just hit enter. So what's happening in the background is that the local model is absorbing all of this data and ingesting it, and it's not making any callouts. So the purpose of this whole demo is not to show that this is the best model or this is the razor sharp model. uh, this demo is running on a modest hardware just to prove the concept, like a proof of concept. So it identifies uh, the subject matter and provides a complete summary which can be reviewed by a legal staff or a paralegal or a lawyer. So basically, instead of having a legal staff manually recognize that raw information into internal notes, chronology, and issue lists, the local model can generate a first pass structured review draft. So the model is then asked to produce six useful sections: a matter overview, a fact summary, a chronology, a list of documents or evidence mentioned, follow-up questions, and preliminary internal notes. So this is where the workflow becomes valuable. The intake data may already exist, but raw intake data is not the same thing as internal legal work product. So now the model is processing the information locally, and here we can see that it is slowly generating the output. So in this case, it identifies the matter type, the summary summarizes the client's situation, organizes the facts, builds a chronology, pulls out the documents mentioned, and highlights missing information and issues for a follow-up. So the value here is not that the model magically knows the law. The source of truth for changing legal rules remains official government guidance, firm approved materials, and lawyer review. The model's role is to organize facts, accelerate intake processing, and create a structured internal starting point. So there are ways to completely automate the part in the middle, that is where the administrative staff downloads, copies, and pastes what you just saw on the screen by API integration or some other ways. But the purpose of this demo is to kind of show the output based on how information can be processed locally without making a call out to any of the popular AI players or providers, as client data confidentiality is a foundational factor and essential pillar in these sorts of regulated operations and regulated fields.
So, to conclude, the point of this proof of concept is not that the local large language model replaces the need for lawyers or it replaces the current legal source materials. The point is that the local first workflow can reduce the administrative drafting time while keeping sensitive client data and information local and under firm control so that the information is not sent to any external entity or any external party. Uh, Today's demo is running on a modest hardware just to prove the proof of concept. However, if a firm wants stronger quality, better reasoning, and longer context or more advanced document workflows, the next step is simply to upgrade the machine and deploy a stronger local model. As you saw in the demo, I have used Quen, which is a much lighter and lightweight model, but the workflow remains the same even if you use a stronger large language model such as DeepSeek. The workflow stays the same, the capture layers stays the same, the privacy first architecture stays the same. Only the capability of the local system improves. I'm actively looking for opportunities where I can help build AI workflows like this one, especially in operations, customer experience, internal automation, and AI implementation roles. If you're a recruiter or a founder, operator, or a lawyer who sees value in this local AI first workflow, proof of concept, or practical automation, I'd love to connect with you. I'm currently open to work, and if you or your firm needs someone like me on your team, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or on my email address, and I'd love to speak and connect with you. Thank you so much for watching this demo, and I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday and have a great weekend.